Alright, Festive Long Johns here with another replay review for my Minty Ducati. We are going to just hop right into it. Got another game with him playing as the Soviets against Austir on Leglaze Breakout. Is this Breakout or is this just Leglaze? I think it's Breakout. Anyway, the 1v1 version of the map. This map is great for the Soviets. The resources are pretty spread out. It's a lot of urban combat. Makes it hard to use MGs unless they get dug in buildings. We can see right off the bat, Co Superstar, I don't want to say spamming, but he started off with 2 Askrens, which is not a terrible call on this map, but they don't have a whole lot of utility. They do have good building clear ability. No, wait, that's... yeah, that's right. That one's pretty solid. Conscripts are pretty much all you need to deal with Askrens, to be honest. If they sprint towards you, you can just oorah away. Usually you can do enough damage on the approach that you can force them off. They're quite a bit more expensive than your conscripts at 280 manpower versus 240, and they have absolutely no AT capabilities. So they have some distinct disadvantages. They do have some advantages. Capping order looks good. It's good to nab an early VP, especially considering you want to generally try and control the middle of this map. This is a pretty contested area. A lot of times Austir players will rush an MG straight to this building, either this building or this building. So you want to try and deny that early in the game. Superstar here has chosen not to do that. He's just kind of passively capping. And yeah, with Ducati here, doing a nice job decapping the VP, trying to control the munitions point. That's good. This is an engagement you should easily win. Bit of a micro mistake here. You don't want to run straight past these assault grenadiers just to get in that garrison. You could have easily done quite a bit of damage at range and forced them off. And now we've got a situation where you're taking fire from 2 of those guys and you're going to have to retreat. You might wipe this Pioneer squad, which is good. You're doing a really nice job harassing on the other side of the map with these conscripts. So playing exactly how you should as Soviets. 4 cons is a very strong opening on this map. These Grins are really low health. They're going to start dropping models, as you can see here. Should be reinforcing and trying to get these guys up to the map, up to the front as quick as possible. Probably shouldn't stall here too much longer. Although, looks like you're, yeah, this is just about perfect amount of time to stay in that building. Dropped a few more models, made this squad pretty much useless. Doing a good job of controlling the garrisons. It's really important for this side of the map, and you've taken really good map control. So at this point, you got plenty of fuel. You should be retreating this squad to tech. The strat point is important, but it's not that important. It's not so important that you want to delay your tech for the favor of added harassment, especially because you're not going to be able to hold it. He's just going to retake it. Conscript's just destroying these Askrens in the house. He's just going to bleed really hard. And you've already just swooped around the whole left side of the map here with this conscript squad. That's really good. You've got him contained really well. This is a great map for Soviets. Pretty good decision. As far as commander goes, shocks are amazing. The incendiary already can be really good at displacing packs. Doing a nice job of just stalling his advances by hopping in these garrisons. That's also a really good idea. It looks like you're keeping your units moving pretty well. That's always good. Teching up here at the 5-minute mark is pretty good time. You'll be able to, if you float a little bit of manpower here, you'll be able to build Tier 3 straight off. which is what you want to be doing. T70 is amazing on this map. The M5, we don't really need to talk about the M5. We all know it's broken as hell. Hopefully it gets changed soon. Doing a really good job controlling these garrisons. Austere is a really hard time clearing them in the early game, especially when you apply enough pressure and make it difficult for him to afford a mortar. Just really good Soviet play overall right now. Oh, we just lost a grand squad. That's not good. Should make a mental note that there's a pioneer going to cap. Okay, yeah, so this squad, you need to be teching, tech fast. This is basically the same advice I gave you as last game, so I don't know how useful it'll be. It's a bit redundant, so I won't harp on that too much. But you want to try and get tier 3 up as fast as possible as Soviets. That M5 is going to have a way bigger impact than the shocks. And while shocks are good, especially against assault grenadiers, it's not super important. So right now you should be thinking mines, demo charges. He seems to really, you could even bait him into one of these houses. Just lay a demo charge, bait him into the house, and just destroy it. Start wiping squads with Soviet munitions. Because when you go shock rifle, you don't have a whole lot to spend your munis on. You don't have guards to upgrade DPs. You don't really have anything to spend munitions on as Soviets except for mines and tripwire flares. And grenades as guards, I suppose, but he's just draining manpower right now. And he's gonna harass your fuel here. Bit of an oversight. The combat engineers lost this engagement while you had conscripts just capping here. You could have easily brought those conscripts out, taken care of those pios. You want to try and use your units together as much as possible. Concentrated firepower is going to win you games. At this point, you have wiped several squads, so you should be thinking of being really aggressive. You don't want to let him get back into the game after you've wiped some squads, so you want to try and do exactly what you're doing now, cut him off from the fuel, and just try and keep him contained. So, rifle nade. That's pretty nasty. Nice job retreating before you lose the squad, though. Always good to see. You've got your fuel back and you're decapping theirs. He's idling a bit here. Shock's doing a good job of just doing what shocks do. Tear shit up and force retreats. Alright, so I should have mentioned this earlier, but this thing can be a pain in the ass. It gives the P-grins the cover they need to deal with the shocks. Not a big deal. All you gotta do is tech AT grenades, which you should be doing the second you see this guy without any AT on the field yet. So this is what I mean. If you could have had an M5 on the field right now and it would have just destroyed this thing, or even a T70. You got to really try and keep the momentum when you gain map control like that, and just keep that snowball rolling. You want to try and you really always want to pressure Austere as hard as you can, because as soon as he starts getting LMGs on these grins, well, this one grin, your conscripts are going to start bleeding a little bit more. If you let him breathe enough to get a mortar out on this map, it can be a pain. Generally speaking, you got to be aware. It's one thing that's nice about the mechanized commander or mechanized assault is that you know what's coming. You know at 3 CPs you're going to get the assault group. You know at 7 CPs the Stuggy's coming. So you should be really aware of all of that. If you're going to go shock rifle, I think staying in tier 3 is a good idea because you want to float enough fuel to get an IS-2. I don't think teching to tier 3 or I'm sorry, tier 4 is necessarily a great idea. You should just try and apply as much pressure as you can with your tier 3 vehicles. until you can call in your IS-2. You can use the Su-76 for some light support, and the barrage is not terrible on this map either. You can kind of do it over some walls, and the line of sight's not as big a problem. T-70, gonna destroy this. You should be able to force a mass retreat across the whole map with that T-70. You should take these cons out of the house and force a retreat on these grins. There you go. Lost a conscript there. Khan's doing a nice job harassing on the left, but with the T-70 you should be looking for any squads that are capping for him and just force them back. You want to try and force a mass retreat. And then promptly, as soon as you gain that territory back, take it and put mines down, or put demo charges down. You know, you got almost 300 munitions. You should be really just shift-click commanding. Like, what you can do is you can take this combat engineer squad and give them a shift command to just lay mine here, and then here, and then here, you know, and then you can go on to do other things. So, oh, it was nasty. You dirty, dirty T-70. You should end the game at this point. He's only got 3 squads. You've got the initiative. You could get another. Honestly, you could. At this point, you have such a fuel advantage. You probably could tech and get a T-34 out, or just whatever you wanted, basically, to give you a little extra flexibility. There you go. Now we got mines going down, and a second engineer squad to hopefully lay some more mines. Just be really aggressive with that T-70. There we go. Wipe this squad on retreat. If you can wipe that, it makes it even harder for him to tech. He hasn't even... Okay, he has tech 2 too, so... Nice job continuing to harass with those cons. You have way more infantry than him, so you should just try and cap everywhere just like you're doing. Oh, P-Shrek's in the building. Be careful about that. Let me see, we've got some idle infantry. One thing I can suggest is give yourself a little bit of a timer. Give yourself like 3 seconds to assess the situation, issue a move command, and then go on to another unit. Until you can get used to how much time you can spend watching an engagement without losing track of your other squads, I think that's a good idea to just try and set a mental timer for yourself. And always keep track of units in this bar here. You can tell which units are in combat, which units are idle, and which units are low. You can even take a glance up there and see, oh crap, my squad's losing health rapidly. You don't even have to click to see what exactly is happening in that engagement. If you see that a squad is losing health very, very quickly, you can just click it, hotkey retreat, and be done. You don't even have to look. AT grenades. Oh no, we hit a mine. That's good. Mines always pay off. I'd highly suggest checking AT grenades if you've got 4 conscripts. You can really catch people off guard. Oh, that was nasty. Does manage to wipe that squad. The Stuggy is really low. There you go. Maintaining the triple cap, that's good. But that's, okay, SU-85 is the wrong call here. You definitely don't need an SU-85 against the Stuggy. SU-85 is clunky. On this map, it's really hard to use. I mean, this is a decent spot for it. You can cover this lane and this lane. But this whole left side of the map's kind of hard to use it. It's hard for it to switch sides. I think an SU-76 would have been a way better call. And your T-70 could have maybe got away. I'd recommend when you have a situation where you've got a I'm going to slow this back down to 1x speed. If you got a situation where your vehicle is outclassed, give it a reverse command, use the mini-map, and click your base. That frees you up to do other things. You can just, you select the vehicle, you hit reverse, and you click the mini-map, and they will reverse all the way to your base, and then you could just forget about it. Because like right there, it looked like you reversed most of the way, and then just stopped with that Stug chasing. Granted, not necessarily a good trade for him, but it could have been avoided. Let's see. Mines doing their job. That's good. You just need more infantry right now, I think. Honestly, there's nothing stopping you from getting another squad of shocks. These Pigra and Shreks are not going to stand up to it. Neither of those guys. The only thing you have to worry about is the Stuggy. If you had SU-76, you could be hunting down all targets. The SU-76 is going to destroy the Stuggy, and it's also going to be able to deal with infantry as well. So you're kind of playing into his hand, especially if you've seen he has Panzer Shreks. Panzer Shreks are the natural counter to the SU-85, because SU-85 just can't do anything against P-Shreks. So here we're seeing how clunky the SU-85 is to use. You got to drive all the way around here and then turn around, and if he's backing up properly, all he has to do is back up and you can't finish the job. And then the P-Shreks just push up on you. The Shrek sniping models is so aggravating. Remember to lay mines, lay mines. So that's, I think, the biggest mistake so far. The SU-85 is a defensive tank, and you had the initiative. You were well ahead in map control, well ahead in a number of squads. You want to try and maintain that. By going in SU-85, you don't necessarily keep the pressure up. And it also delays your IS-2. You could have had an IS-2 right now instead of an SU-85. So, you know, not a terrible idea, attacking to Tier 4, but only if you can use it to maintain your map control. If you're going to attack Tier 4, you need to keep the pressure up so that you can keep your double fuel, so that you can still afford your IS-2. This is an easy win for your shocks. If they'll stop moving around. Still an easy win. Another squad of shocks. Good call. You're also denying his fuel, which is good. He's a long way off from the Tiger. I mean, a long way off from the Tiger. So you don't have to worry about that at all. You know, at this point, I don't even think it'd be a bad idea to go an SU-76 now, or a T-34-76 now, because he just has nothing to deal with a medium vehicle aside from one single solitary pack. He doesn't even have anything to Faust it with, so you don't even have to worry about that pack that much. All in all, though, you've got the right idea in terms of harassing all over the map. That's exactly what you want to do with Soviets, especially on a map like this. Did a good job of stalling in the building. And I'm not sure how this game managed to go for another, what is this, 40 minutes? The good news is you've got the trump card in the IS-2. And if this pack starts giving you trouble, or if he goes for a pack wall later in the game, you've already teched, you can get a Katyusha out. You could even make a play for this right now. He doesn't have really anything over here to defend that. The thing is that the SU-85 just gives you no ability to be aggressive. That's really what's killing you. He's going to lose another squad there. Yep. So starting to see some of the things that we saw in the last game. Nice grenade over the wall there. That's always a nice trick. Your shocks are certainly paying off right now. And there's a munitions dump. Not bad. I would prefer you save that for a key engagement when you need to decrew a pack rather than just to deny a VP for a few seconds, because that's 120 munitions just for a few seconds of denying a VP. Steal that pack. That's a huge priority. Either steal or destroy it. That's his only hard AT aside from this Shrek squad. And a 6-man pack crew is just beastly. But the prized possession for the Soviets is German equipment. German equipment is so much better than Soviet equipment. So if you ever have an opportunity to steal either a Packer, an MG42, or even a mortar, uh, use it. Those extra squad sizes make it crazy. You see, you've got a SU-7 or T-34-76, but it's a little late. You floated quite a bit of fuel. You could have had it out much earlier, and you could have used that to maintain the lead that you had. So I think right now your biggest issue is just allocating resources properly. Your micro is pretty good. Your ability to control the map with Soviets is really good. Both these replays I've seen, you've done a great job in the early game of controlling the map and just dictating the pace of the game. But you need to work on capitalizing on that. So if you've got the map control, you should be thinking, what am I going to leverage this into in order to maintain it and really go for the jugular. If you can do that, you'll really roll games, and they won't go 45 minutes, and they won't be as exhausting. You can just end the game. Nice grenade, wipes that squad. You've still got beastly map control. So just need a few repairs. You keep an eye on this guy. Another mine down there. That's nice. Should be thinking tripwire flares as well. Third squad of shocks. You had the manpower for another vehicle. I think you could have got another vehicle. I think a T-34-76 would be good. Don't underestimate the M5. It's so retardedly cost effective this patch. Like, you can build that at any stage of the game and it's worth it. I mean, it's not even funny. Like, that unit is so broken. You can lose it in the mid game, rebuild it, and it'll still be worth it. And you're rolling in the fuel right now, so you'll have an IS-2 fairly soon. What you can do with all these shocks is you just camp them on the VPs with an AT gun, and won't be a whole lot you can do about it. You got your T-34 healed up. Use it to force off this Stugi. Pack is still there. That should be a huge priority for you. Your mouth should be drooling when you see that. When you decrew a pack, you should just go ham for that thing. They're so good, especially considering it's really his only AT aside from the 2 Shreks that he has. Yep, use this SU-76, or goddammit, what do I keep calling that? T-34. Use the T-34 to just force off capping squads on the flank. That's good. That's exactly how you use that unit. This guy's just really gonna try hard you. He just doesn't want to go down easy. 72 VPs. He's got a 1-man Pio squad capping. There you go. See, you've got AT on the field. You don't want to. Oh God, yeah, that's a dead T-34. What you don't want to do is you don't want to just sit in front of that thing and let your conscripts drain models in the hopes that you can get an 18-8 off. You should really avoid it until you can bring in your AT, and then you can deal with it. He's even getting a little greedy here. He might hit that mine you laid really early. You'll probably wipe this Pioneer squad. He spots it. Might get it anyway. Probably gets away though. Yeah. We got a lot of idle units here in a VP drain situation. Oh, there you go. That's a nice flank. Move that SU-85 up along with it, and get those shocks up here to force off the P-Shrek so that you can finish this thing. There we go. Okay, now you should start floating manpower for an IS-2 and you should just end the game. There's nothing, he has nothing that can deal with an IS-2. Panzer Shreks aren't really going to cut it, especially if you support with your shocks. You've got a far superior army composition right now. It's probably going to be a dead T-34 though. Retreat. Oh no. So here's your shocks. You should think about your opponent's unit composition and versus your unit composition, and you should be thinking about, okay, I've got my shocks to counter these P-Shreks. That should be your priority, you know, like find his Panzer Shreks and run your shocks right into him to force him off the map. That frees up your T-34 to do whatever it wants to, you know, support the rest of your forces, run down capping squads, deny VPs. You've got this one pretty firmly in hand. You had the fuel for an IS-2. I would have gone with that. I mean, if you're going to go 76s, then you should probably get like a lot of them, because 1 or 2 isn't really going to be that great, but you can really overwhelm an opponent with, you know, multiple T-34 76s. Because if you have 1, you're pretty vulnerable to these Shreks, but if you have multiple, you can just go run them all over. Seriously, you just crush them all. Bit late on that retreat there. KV-8, not the right call here either. KV-8's just bad. KV-8 is 145 fuel. They didn't adjust the cost after they nerfed the flame crits on flamethrowers, so they made it so that they don't crit nearly as often, and the KV-8 is way overpriced in my opinion. There's another, that's basically going to throw your initiative. You mean you would think it would be the right call against these Shreks, but oh, there you go, that actually ended up paying off for you. But Shreks actually do pretty decent damage to a KV-8, and you have to get into Shrek range before you can actually deal with it. See, and now we got the Tiger on the field. KV-8 has no chance at dealing with the Tiger. So, had you saved for the IS-2, this would have been a totally different game. And this is another point where having that German pack is your best. It's literally the best weapon you can have against a Tiger, and it's still just waiting to get stolen there. You got nothing to support this Tiger. He's going to have free roam. He's just going to be able to chase all your infantry down everywhere. You could probably still win this with the VP drain. I mean, he's only down to 11, so you could just try and stretch the field and control these VPs and force that Tiger to just keep moving. Here's your IS-2. He's got the superior support though with those Panzer Shreks. Okay, you don't want to push up one by one though. Now he's got this. Okay, we need to slow down here. Okay, so that was a situation where you got basically outmated. Like, he stalled for the Tiger. That was his only shot at winning this, and he managed to survive until he had the Tiger. You had several opportunities to end the game prior to this. I just think you maybe just built the wrong units. SU-85, I would never build an SU-85 on maps like this. You got a little greedy with that AT gun. And he's getting greedy with the Tiger too. You can take this fight, a little RNG in your favor, you can easily win this fight. Shoot, you could even use that KV-8 to go deny the VPs while you're at it. The Tiger's the only threat to your KV-8 right now. There's no point in leaving him here in a VP war, so I just flipped that puppy down to flames and run off with it. Nice job recrewing the pack. Oh no, he's going to arty your base. Unlucky main gun destroyed crit. You should be moving this stuff. This pack is, or this might clear this out. Thing is, you still have better map, or you still have better, wow. Bounce and gone. Okay. You still have better map control. You still have more fuel. Crank out a vehicle right now. That's all he had. Even a T-70. T-70, if you built a T-70 right now, it would win you the game. Because he doesn't have anything left except assault grins. He's got a Stuggy. I mean, Stuggy will kill your T-70, but that's his last hope. And the T-70 is fast enough that you shouldn't really get caught by the Stuggy. You choose it to force off VPs while you get your IS-2 repaired. There you go. Get that puppy rolling. You got your beast on the field. You gotta use him. There you go. Stuggy penetrates from the front. Wow. That Stuggy. Stuggy's the natural cape, IS-2 counter. There you go. Stick that IS-2 right on the fucking VP. What's he gonna do? There you go. Look at that. These shocks just don't give a shit. Yeah, this game's over now. Just cap both VPs. You could base rush even. You built another pack rather than recrewing the one that was on the field. I don't think that was a very good call. One thing the KV-8 is decent at is base rushing. You can, if you catch an opponent with no AT, you can base rush. I mean, he's got nothing here. You could just wipe all three of those squads. Just kite the pack. He doesn't even have a Faust. There you go. Go hard. Put the nail in the coffin. You don't have to be afraid of that pack if he has no Fausts. You can just circle it for days. Yeah, you got this one in the bag. That's game. Alright. Well played. You did a really great job of controlling the early game. Once again, the Soviets, you've got that down. Like, you got that down pat. I think where you go wrong is decision making and tech timing. So that just kind of takes, once you get used to the Soviets and how much fuel you've got and when to tech, these games will start getting a lot easier. Teching tier 3 quickly is important, and then snowballing that into either an IS-2 like you did, although I would have banked for it a lot sooner. If you're going to tech tier 4 when you've gone shock rifle, you need to get out as many T-34s as you can to maintain map control, or as many as you think you need to maintain map control so that you can eventually have the fuel for your IS-2. You had such a big lead in that game. You could have gone, and you even had the fuel for it, you could have gone 2 or 3 T-34s and just overwhelmed him. But you kind of let him back into the game with the Su-85 and the KV-8. The KV-8 was, how many kills did it even end up with? 7 kills. It was on the field for 15 minutes, and that's its only job is to kill infantry. I just think the KV-8 is terrible. I would never build the KV-8. I think it's just awful, awful, awful unit. It's so bad. Definitely not worth the cost. 145 fuel, it's super expensive. That manpower or that fuel is much better spent. That's almost 2 T-34s when you think about it. 2 T-34 is only 160 fuel. So KV-8 threw the momentum for you. Su-85 kind of threw some more momentum. And then the same thing we focused on last time, just trying to micro in more places than one. You might, we can talk on TeamSpeak about maybe setting up some sort of hotkey system, because a lot of times the tactical map helps with that a lot because it gives you a quick overview. Aside from that, really keeping a close eye on the unit bar in the right and the mini map on the left, not getting too caught up in what's happening on the screen in front of you will really help as well. So well played, Ducati. I think you're really close to. I mean, honestly, with the way that you handle the early game, you can beat a lot of players just with that alone. So don't get discouraged. I wouldn't say that your Soviet play is bad at all. It's actually quite good, early to mid game. So yeah, hopefully we can talk soon, and hopefully this was helpful. See ya.